Hi guys, this is Mrs. Chavez. I'm here to talk to you about our um, next chapter that we're going into. It's chapter 12, Political Geography. I hope you used your time wisely on Wednesday and caught up with some of your work. I didn't give you anything deliberately. You're starting chapter 12 today, and it'll be broken down into 4 classes. We're going to start with section 1 today, and we're going to be looking at what political geography is all about.
So right there.
So what is political geography? Well, it covers a lot. Amazingly, this is a chapter that I think you might find very interesting. We talk about boundaries, we talk about different countries, we talk about states, we talk about elections, we talk about how these countries came about, how they developed. We talk about some of these international organizations like the United Nations. We look at these political problems that are endemic in some countries, divisions, and we look at, like I said, electoral politics, voting. One of the most significant elements of political geography is the fact that the land surface of the world in the last century, in the 20th century, has been completely divided into independent countries. We came into the 21st century with not one bit of land that hadn't been claimed on this earth. So one of the one of the terms that you're going to have to become very familiar with is the term state. In geography, in political geography especially, state can mean 2 different things. It can either be a state, like the state of Texas, as you see on that map in front of you, or it can be used as a country. So it can be an independent political entity, like a country, a territory, or it can be like part of a federal government, a state, like the United States. You can't confuse nation with state. A nation is not a state. A nation is a group of people who share something, a common culture, common religion, common language. They may share their ethnicity. They don't have to have a piece of land, and they don't necessarily have to have boundaries. The Lakota Sioux Native American is a nation that exists because of its cultural uniqueness, because the people who make up this nation are Lakota Sioux. So they're ethnically combined, and their language and their common culture. So remember, a nation doesn't mean a state. We've come across this term stateless nation before, and so you should be familiar with this already. This is a special case where is a nation of people who are living in a variety of states. If you look at the map right in front of you, it's called Kurdistan. There's no country named Kurdistan, but the Kurds live in Turkey, they live in Armenia, Azerbaijan, Iraq, Syria. They're spread out over all that whole area, but they don't have their own state. And today we still have problems with this. It's the largest stateless nation. It has 20 million people, and they're divided up among all these 6 states. Another good example would be the Gypsies, and another one would be the Basque. Now you have a video that you need to take a look at. It's called "What Does It Mean to Be Stateless?" It's in your OneNote. You know, we haven't always lived with the idea of the modern state that we know today, the modern countries that we know today. This is a new idea, and it comes about as a result of the Enlightenment with political philosophers in the 18th century. Now, these political philosophers pushed the concept that people would owe allegiance to a country or a state rather than to its leader, or which would be the king or the queen. And this concept began during the French Revolution and spread over Western Europe to England and Spain and Germany. There's a really good video that I included for you. It's called Why Countries Exist, and it's 6 minutes long, and it gives you a really great idea of how this whole evolution of the modern state came about. All right,